Welcome to the structural analysis class. So in this class, we'll discuss another method to solve the indeterminate structure, that is moment distribution method. So if you recall, last class we have started the new module, that is how to analyze the indeterminate structures. Indeterminate structures are basically real structures. All the structures, whatever you see nearby, all the structures are actually indeterminate in nature. So only using the equilibrium of equations we cannot solve this type of structures. We need some extra equations as a form of compatibility equations. So we have to use equilibrium of equations as well as the compatibility conditions of the structure to analyze those type of structures, that is indeterminate structures. So if you recall, last class we have discussed about the three moment equation to solve a continuous beam. So continuous beam is also a indeterminate structure, as you have seen in the last class, and using the three moment equation we have solved and how to analyze or how to draw the bending moment and shear force diagrams for the indeterminate structures. So today we'll see another method, very popular method, that is moment distribution method to solve the indeterminate structures. So today also we'll consider the same as a continuous beam, because all continuous beams are basically indeterminate in structure. So let's see this. Let's consider this beam. So this beam is a continuous, as I discussed in the last class also. So when the span is increasing from more than one or more than two supports, if you have a structure, that we call it, it is a continuous structure. So in this case, this is a continuous beam. So now if you see whether this beam is a determinant or indeterminate, let's verify. So as we know, continuous beams are always indeterminate in nature. So let's see. So here in left hand side, you have a fixed support. So this one is fixed support, means you have how many reactions? So total you have three unknown reactions at this support, at this point. So one is horizontal, one is vertical, and another is moment, right? Reaction moment. So you have three unknowns at this support. So now in the at B point you have now one only roller supports are there. So roller support means you have only single reaction force. So again at C also we have that roller support means single reaction force. Again this end at D we have again three unknown reactions, as it has a fixed support. So now count total how many unknown reactions are there. So we have 3 plus 1 plus 1 5 plus 3 8. So total 8 unknown reactions are there in this beam, continuous beam. So now we have only three equilibrium of equations, right? Summation of all horizontal forces is equal to 0, summation of all vertical forces is equal to 0, and summation of moment at any particular point should be equal to 0. So we have three equilibrium of equations, and here we have total 8 unknown. So we cannot solve this structure or this beam using only equilibrium of equations, because more number of unknowns are there and we have less number of equations. So this beam is a indeterminate beam with a degree of indeterminacy is 5, right? 8 minus 3, 5. So 5 in degree of indeterminacy is there in this beam. So to draw the bending moment and shear force diagram, deflection, slopes at any point, if we use our normal method, we can't do that, because here so many support unknowns are there. So before drawing the bending moment and shear force, we have to first find it out all the support reactions. So last class we have seen how to do it using the three moment equation. If you recall, we have in the three moment equation we just consider three supports at a time, and then we develop a equation which which relates middle MC with ML and MR, if you recall. So today we'll discuss using the moment distribution method to solve this beam. So moment distribution method is very much widely useful method, and this is the base of all the modern structural analysis program. So in reality, we do structural analysis through softwares, because all the calculations, if it is a single beam, we can do it manually by hand. But if it is a multi-story buildings, so then it is very difficult or very long process, very tedious process to do manual calculations. So then we employ many program softwares to do the analysis. So this method, moment distribution method, is one of the such method where you can write a program, or you can write a code to automate all the structural analysis process, and through this method you can analyze a long multi-story buildings also. Just couple of lines of codes you have to write, and the analysis is done. So that's why the advantage of this method is you can write a code using this method very easily. So let's see how we can use moment distribution method to solve this type of beams. So let's see step by step procedure, we'll see. So the first step in this method is we have to fix all the supports. So for example, this is a given beam, already beam is given to us. Here we have only left hand support fixed, right hand support fixed, and middle supports are actually roller support. But in this method, first we have to fix all the joints in this structure. So we have to lock all the joints first, irrespective of whatever it was in original. We have to lock all the supports. So anyway, at a support is already locked because it is fixed by default given to us, and B and C we have to lock it. We have to lock it means basically we have to consider it as a fixed support now. So both are fixed now, and D also anyway given to us is D fixed. So our first step will be to fix all the supports. Fix means we we lock all the supports. So if you see, this is the diagram, deflected shape. If you see this, curvy line is basically deflected shape after application of the load. So this beam is subjected to UDL, and then you have point load, and then here also you have UDL. So multiple loads are acting in this beam. So because of this multiple loads are acting, the beam will deflect, and this is a deflected shape if you see. So this is a deflected shape. So at end A, this end is anyway fixed, right? At end B, B is not fixed, it is a roller, right? So that's why you can see the slope at this point is not zero, you have some slope. So the deflection will start like that, will happen, right? But what we did now in our first step is to fix all the supports. So now in this diagram, basically we fixed all the supports. So once you fix it, see the deflection, how the deflection will take place. So this support is anyway fixed. So that's why deflection did not started from the support itself. Deflection started after some time, because you have the reaction moment at the support. So because of this reaction moment, the deflection won't be happening just at the support. Deflection will start after some time from the support, after some distance. So similarly, B also, originally the B was roller support, but as per our assumption, first we made this support as a fixed support. So once you make this support as a fixed support, see the deflection also. So this was the original deflection, originally if it is a roller, but here we make it a fixed support. That's why the deflection is zero. Actually, slope at that point is zero. So see, the slope started from here itself. So here at this point, slope is zero. Similarly, here also if you see, we fixed this C joint. So that's why the slope at this point is zero. So that is our first step to fix all the supports. So whenever we fix any supports, what will have? So we introduce a moment, fixed end moment, like here. So already this is a fixed support, right? So it has three reactions, one vertical, one horizontal, and you have a fixed end moment also, right? So originally at B and C, this was roller support. So roller support don't generate any reaction moment, right? As we know all these things. So reaction moment will only have fixed end for the case of fixed end support. So B and C, ideally, originally B and C support don't have any moment. Moment should be equal to zero, reaction moment. But what we did, we locked both the support, right? B and C, we locked it, means we fixed it. So once we fixed it, we will have a reaction moment also at B and C. So once you lock it, we'll have a reaction moment, fixed end moment at B and C both, right? So that is our first job, to calculate the fixed end moment. So already predefined equations I'll give it to you, where in different loading conditions what would be the fixed end moment, that table I'll provide to you. Anyway, in the next slide I'll show it to you. So once you fix it, then our next, then we have to unlock each joint sequentially. So at the first iteration, so first step is anyway we lock all the supports. Then in the next figure, or in the next step, basically we'll unlock one support and lock others. So if you see this support now, so now B also locked. Now in the next step we unlock B, but C is again locked. So C is locked in locked condition if you see here, whereas B, now we removed the locking. So we provided now that roller support itself, we removed the locking, and we introduced the slope at the B, and then the calculation will happen. So like that, step by step we have to lock, unlock each support, and we have to do our calculations. So here one important term will be there, that is stiffness factor. So what is stiffness factor? 4 EI by L. So this term, please remember. So for EI by L, we call it stiffness vector. So this is very much important to understand. So stiffness vector is each span will have some stiffness vector. So how much is the stiffness vector for this span? It will be 4 EI by L. So compute whatever the value you will get it, that is the stiffness vector for this span. Similarly, this span also may have different stiffness vectors. Similarly, this span also have different stiffness vectors. So L is length of the span. So L will be varying, right? Each span may have different L, different E, different I. So each span will have different stiffness vectors. So the stiffness vectors are very much important. We'll see how these things are actually considered. So if you recall again, the first step will be just to fix all the supports. So this support is fixed, so this support also we have fixed, and then we calculated what is the fixed moment. Then in the next step we released one support. So once you release one support, then what will happen? So basically the moment whichever fixed moment was there, that moment will cause the slope at this point. So that slope, then we have to count how much will be the unbalanced moment at B. So we have to balance the moment, because at originally at B the moment should be equal to 0, right? This is a roller support. Originally the moment should be equal to 0, but somehow at the first step we assumed we additionally added a fixed at B, C both. So we have to make the moment balance at B. So whatever, so we have to add additional moment to the B to make this balance B 0. So when you add additional moment at B to make the total moment at the support should be equal to 0, then half of this moment will transfer to C and half of this will come to here. That we call it carryover moment. So when you add a additional moment to a support, so for example this is a support, and if we additionally add some moment to this support, then half of this moment will be added automatically to the far end support. So if MA or MB, if you add it additionally, then half of this moment will be automatically added here. So MB by 2 will be automatically added here. That moment transfer we call it carryover moment or the moment distribution. So moment is distributed from this support to this support. So when we solve an example, this concept will be clear to you. So now this is the fixed end moment automatically. So this chart you can remember all the values, no need to derive. So when you have both hand fixed and if a point load is acting P, then how much moment, fixed end moment at A. So this fixed end moment at A will be PAB square by L square. So just remember this, or even in the exam time you can just write it down in a paper. Okay, so MA will be this much and MB fixed in moment at this support will be this much. So when the load is fixed point load at at a distance of A from the left hand side, so that much MA will be generated and MB will be this much. Similarly, if you have UDL of W load acting and both ends are fixed, then how much fixed end will be generated? MA will be this much, WL square by 12. Similarly, at MB also you have WL square by 12. So now if you have this type of different types of loading and fixed moment, how much it will be generated, this type of charts already predefined, so no need to calculate during the exams or during solving a problem. Just remember all this value, or you can make this chart handy. So whenever you solve any problem, just look into the values whatever is there. If the loading condition is UDL, then how much is the fixed moment? Similarly, if a loading condition is UVL, uniformly varying load, then how much will be the fixed moment? So this chart is very much important. Please remember all the values. So now let's solve an example using the moment distribution method. Okay, so what is the question here? Question is a continuous prismatic beam of ABC. So ABC, this is a continuous beam as I mentioned in the last class also. So when a beam is continuing more than one span, then we call it as a continuous beam. So a continuous beam ABC is has a constant moment of inertia. Moment of inertia I is constant. I is constant for both the span. Is carrying a uniformly distributed load of 2 kilonewtons. 2 kilonewton uniformly distributed load is acting, UDL is acting from A to B. in addition to the concentrated load of 10 kilonewton. So 10 kilonewton is also acting concentrated load at B to C span. Now draw the bending moment diagram. So that is our question, very simple question. So this beam is already there. Now we have to draw the bending moment diagram. So now first check whether this beam is a determinant beam or indeterminate beam. If this beam is a determinant beam, then no need to apply double integrated moment distribution method, or three moment equation, whatever we discussed in the last slide, not required. If it is determinate beam, simple equilibrium of equations if we employ, we can draw the bending moment diagram, shear force diagram, everything we can draw it. But if it is an indeterminate beam, then we need to employ this moment distribution method, or maybe three moment equation, anything we can use. So first let's verify whether the beam is determinant or indeterminate. So here at support, A is basically fixed end support. So fixed end support has three unknowns. So here we have three unknown reactions. This one is roller support at B. So roller support means we have only single unknown reactions, which is vertical reaction, and at C also we have single reaction, that is vertical reaction. So total how much reaction? So here 3, 1, 1. Total 5 unknown reactions are there in this beam, and we have three equilibrium of equations. So using only equilibrium of equations, we cannot solve this beam because we have more number of unknowns and less number of equations. So this beam is a indeterminate beam with a order degree of indeterminacy 2. 5 minus 3 is 2. So this is the indeterminate beam. Now we confirm this is indeterminate beam. Now we have to use either three moment equation or moment distribution method to solve this beam, or to draw the bending moment diagram we have to use. So here I will explain how to solve it using the moment distribution method. So if you recall in the last slide what we discussed, our first step will be to freeze all the supports. So first step will be to fix all the B and C. So A is anyway fixed, it is given to us. B and C also we have to fix it, fixed support. We have to convert a B and C roller into a fixed support. So whenever we fix any support, the fixed end moment will be generated, right? A is anyway fixed, it is given to us. So you have some MA fixed end moment. Similarly B also, now we fixed it. So we have MB fixed end moment, and similarly you have MC also fixed end moment. So let's see what is a fixed end moment. So fixed end moment, because of UDL, if you just go back to last slide where I have explained, because of UDL how much will be the fixed end moment generated at A and what will be generated at B. So fixed end moment MAB will be WL square by 12. Just last slide if you see this value, from there I got it. So WL square by 12. So just plug in what is the value of W. W is 2 and L is 3. So 3 square is 9. So 2 into 9 by 12. So you got 1.5 fixed end moment AB. So this end. Now fixed end moment at BA. So BA means this side. So for B supports, left part will be BA. So this part again you have minus WL square by 12. So similarly minus 1.5. So here you have 1.5 fixed end moment, and left side of B we have minus 1.5 fixed end moment. Now let's see this support. So moment at BC. So right hand side of this support MBC, fixed end moment will be PAB square by L square. So this formula also again in the last slide we got it, from there we have considered. So what is P? P is concentrated load given to us 10 into A. A is 2 and B is here 2. 2 square. 2 square means 4. 2 into 4 by 16. L square is 4. 2 plus 2 4. 4 square is 16. So we got 5 kilonewton. So at B, right hand part of B will have 5 kilonewton meter moment, fixed end moment. Similarly MCB means at this end how much will be the fixed end moment? That will be simply minus 5 kilonewton. Just plug in the values, you will get minus 5 kilonewton. So now that part is over. That fixed end moment calculation is over. So any type of loads are acting, just refer the formula whatever we have explained in the last slide, and then find it out what is the fixed end moment. That is our first step to solve the moment distribution method. Next will be, we have to find it out the stiffness factor. What is stiffness factor? If you recall first slide I have explained what is stiffness factor. Stiffness factor is nothing but 4EI by L. The formula for stiffness factor K is 4EI by L. So let's consider this span. So this span, what will be the stiffness factor for this span? It will be 4EI by L. 4EI by L. So L is how much? 3 meters. So by 3. So 4EI by 3. Similarly, what will be the stiffness factor for KBC? So KBC will be 4EI by L. So here L is 2 plus 2, 4. So 4. So now at B, what is the total stiffness then? So at B, you will have this stiffness plus this stiffness. So here at B, two members are meeting, right? BC and BA. So at support B, total K, total stiffness will be summation of this one plus summation of this one. So from this support also, moment will be stiffness will be coming from this support also. So total, if you add it, you will get summation. Moment at K will be this much. And now another term here, it is distribution factor. DF we have to calculate. This is our third step. First step is to calculate the fixed end moment. This is over. Second step is to calculate the stiffness factor K. That also we calculated. Now in the third step we have to compute the DF. DF is distribution factor. So distribution factor will be nothing but distribution factor for BA. So BA means this side, B to A. So this side distribution factor will be whatever is the stiffness factor at this end, B to A. Stiffness factor for B to A is 4 by 3 EI, means 1.33 EI by total K at B. So in this B joint, whatever is the total stiffness is 2.33. So 2.33 will be divided at the bottom, and at the top we have the whatever is at BA end, whatever is the distribution factor at this point. It is 1.33. So 1.33 by 2.33, you will have 0.57. So distribution factor for B to A end will be 0.57, whereas distribution factor for BC, so this side will have KBC by total BC, total K. So KBC is how much? EI by total is 2.33 EI. So this is 0.429. So left side distribution factor is 0.571, whereas right side distribution factor is 0.429. So if you add 2, you should get 1. All the summation of all the distribution factors at particular support should be equal to 1. Now what will be the distribution factor for C? So at C, if you see, only single member is connected at C. Unlike B, B has two members connection, where C only single member is connected, right? That's why the distribution factor at C will be 1, directly 1. So that is our beam. Whatever just now we computed, it is written here. So this is our original beam. Left hand side is fixed, and then at the middle B you have roller, and at the C we have again roller. Now we have written the distribution factors. The distribution factor for this side B to A will be how much? For B to A distribution factor we computed 0.571. So 0.571, like that we have to write. And similarly for B to A, so B to C also we computed 0.429. So 0.429. Now near to C support, so it is 1. Distribution factor is 1. So each support, two sides will be there, left side and right side, if it is a two members are connected. That's why two values we have written, whereas C only one value written, because right side there is no support. So each joint left will have one distribution vector, right side will have another distribution vector. Now if you add both distribution factor in particular support, you should get 1. So 0.571 plus 0.429, if you add both, you will get 1 unity. So now that's the distribution factor we have written. Now like that format actually we have to make to solve this method. So now what is the fixed end moment? Fixed end moment at A. Fixed end moment at A is how much? Fixed end moment at A we computed 1.5. So that's why we have to write plus 1.5 fixed end moment. Similarly, fixed end moment at B to A. So this portion will be how much? So B to A it will minus 1.5. That's why it is written minus 1.5. Similarly, fixed moment at B to C region will be how much? So B to C region it is plus 5. So that's why it is written plus 5 here. Similarly, at C to B it is minus 5. So minus 5. So this first line now we have written, we understood how exactly these things are written. So now we have to balance it one by one. So first balance will be starting from this support C. So C, originally this C support is what? C support is a roller support. But in the step 1, what we did? We made it as a fixed support. Right? So because of it is fixed support, we considered it as a fixed support. That's why we got some moment, minus 5. Right? As it is a fixed support, we considered, that's why we got minus 5. But in reality, if you see, this support is actually a roller support. So roller support means there should not be any moment. Moment should be 0 at this support C. So but as per our calculation we got -5 because we consider it as a fixed support. So we have to balance it. So balance means how we have to make total net support, net moment at this support should be equal to 0. So we have to add +5 moment. Additionally, externally we added +5 because -5 is already there. -5 plus 5 net should be equal to 0 at this support because it is a roller support, right? Roller support means moment should be equal to 0. If it is a fixed support here, then we should not do all these things. Whatever support is there, whatever moment will be there, let it be. But it is a roller support, that's why we have to balance it. We have to make it 0 net moment at this support C. So we added additionally +5. So whenever we add any extra moment at particular support, half of this moment will automatically add to the far end of the support. So this support has two ends, right? This is near end, this is far end. So whenever we add +5, then half of this +5 means 2.5 will automatically add here. Automatically it will add here. So this support now we balanced it, it is 0 now, 0 moment here. But here we added now additional 2.5. Now in this support B, what is the total net unbalanced moment? So net unbalanced moment will be -1.5 is already there, plus 0.5 plus 2.5. So if you add all these three, how much you will get? 5 plus 2.5, 7.5 minus 1.5, 6. So total we have +6 unbalanced moment at support B. So at support B also it is a roller support, means net support should be equal, net moment should be equal to 0. Then we have to add -6 to this support to make it 0. So now we added -6 to this support B. So -6, how much will go here and how much will go there? So total -6 we have to add in this support. So based on the distribution factor. So -6 into 0.57 will be -3.42. So -3.42 will be added left hand side of the support and -2.574 will be added right hand side. So how I got -2.574? That is -6 multiplied by the distribution factor of this side. We'll get -2.57. So if you add both -3.47426 and -2.574, then you will get -6, right? So additionally we added -6 to this support and we made it 0. So whenever we add again -6 here, half of this portion will come here. So half of 2.574 will come to this support C. So -1.27. Whereas half of this side 3.14 will go to A. So half of 3.426 will be -1.71. So half will go here. So now at B now we made it 0. But if you see now C will have now additional moment. Earlier in the loop 1 we made it 0. Now because half came here again it is now unbalanced. It is now not again 0. It is now -1.287. But C is a roller support, right? Again we have to make it 0. So we added +1.27. We made it now 0 in the second loop. So whenever you added +1.27, half will come in this support. Same process will continue. So whatever 1.2's half will be 0.644, half will come here. So now check how much will be the unbalanced here. So earlier we balanced it, now again 0.664 came. So we have to add now -0.664 to make this balance support 0. So -0.664 multiplied by distribution factor will come here, and -0.4's distribution multiplied distribution factor of this one will come here. So like that, now we made it 0. So whenever you add extra, again half will go here. So minus, so half again coming here. So like that, the loop will continue until and unless we get 0. All the supports, once we get 0, this loop will continue. And ultimately, when we get final value 0, and here also almost it is 0, then our iteration will be over. And we get our final MA, moment at A will be just final net, whatever will be there, that will be the final value. So if you see at the beginning of the iteration, what was the value here? Value was -5, right? Unbalanced moment at this support was -5. Whereas in the next iteration, what was the unbalanced moment? -1.2787. So see, in every iteration, this unbalanced moment in all the supports are decreasing. here it was -5. In the second iteration it is now -1.2. If you go third iteration, now it is -0.15. So like that, when you increase the iterations, the unbalanced moment also reduces. So when you have very small unbalanced moment, then we can stop our process, and then we calculate what is the net moment. At B it will be 0, at C also it should be 0, because these are roller supports, and at A is not roller support, it is a fixed support. That's why you get some final moment. So that's how, using the moment distribution method, very quickly, just using the iteration method, we can compute whatever is the unknown moments, MA. MB anyway 0, MC also 0. So this is MA. Now we can easily draw the bending moment diagram for this beam. So that's how we completed our structure part of this course. Using, again, we discussed here how to solve the indeterminate beams using the moment distribution method. So indeed, solving indeterminate beam, we have discussed two methods. In last class we discussed three moment equation, and in this class we discussed moment distribution method. So basically we are distributing the moment from one support to another support, right? Half will come here, half will come here, like that. Moments are distributed across the beam, and we got our final moment. Thank you so much.